early morning Surya Namaskar, sun salutation when you are doing, and it will actually inculcate energy in our body, and that energy is sustained generally throughout the day. So first positive thing which you are doing is you are doing your sun salutation early in the morning. That itself is much more than enough to carry out everything. Very important point which I would like to mention now. See, wisdom talk or having a gyan is one thing, but to do something will bring your events to occur, and that is nothing but when you actually do something by your karmendriya. So karmendriya are responsible for generating the points of starting of events in our life. Okay, it's a little bit heavy in the morning to take this particular dose of gyan, but in short I will tell you. If you do sun salutation, you will find there is already positive wave in your mind and brain. Second, if you continue that, your hormonal concentration in your body will be such that you will automatically think that nothing is impossible in life. Okay, you will automatically think that whatever that happened, that has happened. It's a very simple generic thought, and let's do better for the whole day. Correct. As a result of it, you will find that the events which are attracted towards you will be positive. Why I am telling all this? Because when you will go in front of the your dining table or in front of your thali of your diet, and there if you have thoughts, boss, up to now let's start. This is for what I want to live this life, right? I don't want to live this life for only sun salutation and there will be sweat, and then what I will do after that is like I'm a hungry guy, always looking towards the food like a Labrador. So I want to live my life only for cherishing that eating. If that is a thought which comes in your mind, then you will always think you are not a yogi. You are a one gymmer. Okay. But it is found that people who are doing yoga, they will ultimately pave their way towards the diet. Right? They will automatically go for diet, go on diet. This is the beauty of yoga. This is the beauty of sun salutation. If you are observing a diet and it has gone wayward, you started eating rice, you started eating everything, and your tummy is getting layered on layer, what will you do? Question.
I have to be mindful of what I eat.
You should be mindful, yes, but mind is not in our control. It is that after Panchendriya, Pancha Dhanendriya, the mind is the sixth Dhanendriya, and that Dhanendriya cannot be controlled by anybody. It's like a boss who cannot be controlled, right? So what I should do? My answer was in last 5 minutes. If you would have heard it properly, then the answer was there.
Not stress.
Yes? Determination and discipline. One person said, okay, but where this discipline and determination will come? It will come through mind. But mind is not in my hand. This is a very problematic, right? Mind is not in our hand. You are telling me diet. Okay. But I have given an answer. Controlled diet, triggered, consistent practice of yoga. Okay, this has an answer in a corollary of this. Okay, the answer is in the corollary. The practice of, somebody has said, practicing yoga has an impact on how you see or consume your food. This is a partial answer. Very good. Mind and thoughts can be controlled by yoga. Excellent. This is the answer, actually. Right? So, if you are on diet, it has gone wayward. It has gone to that extent that now you are not able to control. You have guests in your home and you are eating whatever that is not to be eaten. Okay, you know that this is much more quantity for me and nothing can be done. What is the best way to do? Is you should start your yoga more vigorously. That is the first tip. And believe me, this tip I got it after a practice of 20 years. 20 years after I come to know, boss, diet is controlled by yoga. Actually, this is a research paper. Okay. But this tip to know why my diet should be controlled by yoga, because our Pancha Dhanendriya are controlled by yoga. right? So what is the best way? And in yoga specifically, cleaning techniques are very important, right? You might never have seen that any puppy, a dog, will eat or overeat. Have you seen any time? If the puppy overeats, what it will do? It will go eat the grass and vomit it. It does Vagradauti, right? So animals, they have that kind of internal yogic way of living, that they can actually do their control their gut, and they can reduce their hunger, or overeaten they can actually wipe it off, right? So the answer is, you have to, once you find that boss, it is not getting controlled, what you should do? You should start your yoga vigorously, and you will find that it can be controlled. Now this is the first one. Second, if you are doing yoga and you will find more and more there is a craving and hunger is there, the best way is to go for, consider your refer your yoga teacher and go for dhauti early in the morning, not vagra dhauti. I'm saying vaman early in the morning. Okay, it will take out the ghrelin from your stomach and it will control your craving, right? So that is the second thing which you can do, right? Okay, so dhauti will reduce your craving. Okay, but when you do dhauti, you reduce craving, still our mind or man will be there to eat more and more, which will cause indigestion. Now you are doing yoga technique, you are observing dhauti and you are eating more, it will cause indigestion, and you will find that was doing yoga, it will cause indigestion. No, you have to give that signal to the mind, I am doing dhauti. So while eating, I have to stop there where I feel eating or non-eating will not matter for me. It will not test for me. This role is played by dhauti. Dhauti is a drinking lot of water early in the morning and then putting your two fingers so that touching it to the base of your pharynx inside your mouth and take out everything, take out the water. Okay, those people who have blood pressure, they should not go for dhauti. Okay, or they should contact their physician. This is a cleaning technique. It is well done by lots of animals, especially carnivorous animal, right, like dog. So it is also known as vaman, it is also known as kunjal, it is also known as voluntary induced vomiting, but it is a different from vomiting, because it has a lot of water inside your stomach. It will dilute the acid, so you won't get that pains of vomiting which you generally get by vomiting of food. So vomiting of food is different, dhauti is different. Okay, first of all, don't confuse them, though the root is mouth only, but these two are different. If you want to go in details of physiology, I am ready. If there is a question, definitely we'll go. Okay, but because the origination of dhauti is different, origination of vomiting is different, right? So both are different. So don't consider that this is vomiting, right? So here in case of
Sorry,
dhauti,
Raghav,
please go ahead. Yeah,
Sorry. So you mean to say that take a lot of water in the early morning, then do the dhauti?
correct. Take a lot of water, consume a lot of water, put your two fingers inside your mouth, touch it to the base of your tongue,
Okay.
and till the water should be such that it should impart a kind of nauseating feeling inside you, and then take out that water. First of all, you will find there is no burning sensation you will have. Second, there won't be any effects of what happened during vomiting. You will not feel very bad. Afterwards, you will feel very good. You will feel that your acid, which is the extra acid, that will come out, right? That will come out in a dilute form.
Right.
That is another thing. In case of vomiting, it comes out with a concentrated form, so your esophagus will be burned in case of vomiting. In case of dhauti, it won't be burned. It will be as good as you are just cleaning through using water, right?
So before yoga,
Before yoga, right? A partial amount of water will go also below in your stomach, as well as in your duodenum, then through intestine, and as a result of it, you will also have a urge to go to washroom. Correct. So dhoti is the best technique. You have to sense every day whether dhoti is required. If your craving is controlled, then dhoti is not required. So you can skip it. Right? It is not a everyday thing to do. When you have a party at night, you have eaten heavy amount of food, you should do dhauti in the morning, and you will find that in the morning remnants of especially onion, remnants of epicarp of tomato, and remnants of undigested food in the stomach will come out in dhauti. Right? So it means that you have overeaten in the night. That's very clearly indicates. We can understand ourselves what we have eaten, whether it was up to that mark. What is the second reason of dhauti to be done is that all people in sitting jobs, they are always use their brain. Okay, use their brain. We say to other people, okay, he is not brainy, she is not brainy, but it's not like that. They are continuously using their brain. Some people use their brain towards the positive side. Some people, they use their brain to have pampering the boss, everything. But brain is getting used. Most of the people, brainy people, they are acidic in nature. Okay, this is not a thumb rule, but this is a generic rule I have seen. Most of the brainy people, they are acidic in nature. They are angry in nature. Right? As a result of it, they have acidity. This acidity should be reduced to an extent that it should not over impart craving in your stomach. Okay, otherwise you will find that most of the middle management people, they will have their at least BMI more than 28, minimum 28. I have seen minimum 28 also. I'm telling just to be sober. I have seen 30 is a very common BMI for middle management. Right? So people who have 10 plus years of experience and he or she has BMI less than 26, okay, these people, when we should view them immediately with lot of alert, because these people have very controlled diet. These people have very controlled way of living. Okay, very good way of yoga. So, right, there are people who will have controlled diet. So immediately, this is a very good parameter to know about the control of a person on diet. Correct. So you can even determine by your one single view, when some candidate or some person comes in front of you, you see the person, you can determine that person's diet immediately by seeing the person. Okay, if you are good in your view of knowing the diet, if you know what particularly that diet will lead to, you can very easily determine that what the person is eating. Right? Okay, so how frequent we can do dhauti? This was a question. Okay, very good question, and this is a real question. See, when we start dhauti, we should start every day early in the morning. When we do nothing, we have to do dhauti immediately after waking up. You will find over the period of time, maybe 6 days, 5 days, or 3 days, or 10 days, that now previously dhauti had some remnants of food. Previously dhauti release your acidity, but over the period of time you will find maybe 5 days to 10 days that you are now your eating is monitored, diet is monitored. Diet, you require a stipulated quantity, not much, and you don't have much acidity. You will have to then start your dhauti alternate day. You find that alternate day dhauti also monitoring everything. You will again make it 2 days a week. Slowly you have to determine, when your craving increases, again start dhauti. Otherwise you can do once in a 7 days kind of dhauti is generally a stable it is considered once in a 7 days for this lifestyle what we do. But you have to sense it. Rather, your sense of your body, your sense of your tongue is important for your diet, is important for your stomach. When you feel that you are a yogi, very simple, in case of diet, when you feel you are a yogi, what you need in the body or what you need for your body is determined by your tongue, and you eat that only, then you are a yogi. It's a very simple definition of diet yogi. I'll tell you example. Somebody has said this question that what I should eat if there is a hypothyroidism. If you are a yogi, what you should do? Okay, I should eat little bit of more selenium. What is a source of selenium? Say cashew nut is a source of selenium. That does not mean you should eat 1 kg of cashew nut every day, right? 1 kg of cashew nut will have a problem in kidney. So you should eat 2 to 3 cashew nut. Now a craving for cashew nut in this condition when the selenium is less is what the yogi is. You will come to know that what my stomach requires is represented by your tongue, is actually manifested by your tongue, is yogi. When there is a connection between tongue and stomach. But if this connection is disconnected, then you are a bhogi. Okay, the tongue needs Maggi, tongue needs gulab jamun, tongue needs chakli, vada pav, lot of rice, lots and lots of sweets, high glycemic index carb, then you are not a yogi, somebody else, right? So yogi has a very simple definition that the samatvam yoga uchyate, who has control on sense organs, who knows sense organs. That does not mean the yogi has all sense organs completely blunt. No, not like that. The person has craving, the person has taste, okay, not tasteless or senseless, but person knows how to eat and what to eat, and also when to eat. As a rule, never ever eat without you have a very good craving for food, and your craving should match with your timing. It is found that people who overeat, they sit for a long time, they have a kind of saggy feeling throughout. These people will have a higher amount of fat on their tummy, below their tummy, and also they pave towards reduction of the thyroid concentration, and then their thyroid stimulating hormone concentration will increase, and as a result of it they will suffer from hypothyroidism. They will have to take the tablets. So Surya Namaskar, especially those asanas which are responsible for your Vishuddhi chakra, you should do that. It's well known fact that you should not eat soya bean, okay, for thyroid. You should always try to eat very good amount of fruits, very good amount of vegetables, low carb glycemic index food, right? Should refrain from sweets, should refrain from the combination of fat and sugar, which is the deadliest one. Deadliest, fat and sugar. Like, say for example, all Indian sweets having a contribution of oily substance or fried substance plus sugar, like jalebi, most deadliest. Okay, it may not be deadliest, it will be best when you are working or you are doing your yoga for at least 1 hour. At least 1 hour. Ideally, you should eat everything. Ideally, but in small quantities. But that is for maintenance of your body. A very good yogi should eat everything in your diet, whatever generally Indian thali has, right? But in moderate amount. But if somebody says, I want to reduce the weight, I'll come to that. Somebody has asked this question in the questionnaire we have floated. What should be my diet for reducing my weight? Okay, the person wants to reduce from 104 kg to almost 70 kg. Now remember, reduction of weight and the maintenance of weight has two different diets. Please keep in mind, both are different. Okay, if somebody say that I will be always on diet, then that's wrong. That's not correct. You should have a different diet for maintaining your weight and for reducing your weight. No doubt about it. When you are maintaining your weight, your diet can have the liberty of many things. But when you are reducing your weight, to start some engine, to continue that, it needs a kind of jerk to the body. So definitely a low carb and low fat diet is generally have more weight loss. So high fiber. How to do that? Very simple. You should stay away from sweets and fatty food. At the same time, you should increase your fiber contents. You should increase the vegetables and also fruits. Specifically, I will recommend better not to go for any kind of non-vegetarian stuff for reducing your weight. But it is found that people who go for non-vegetarian diet for long time and then suddenly they become vegetarian, there will be definitely deficiencies of vitamins, especially D and B12, and this will ultimately, the mandate will come from that yogi, that sadhak that was shifting from non-veg to veg. It causes a trouble of deficiency. So this diet is useless. Body requires habit of switching over from non-veg to veg, and that switching over is really a task of transition. You'll have to give handover to the vegetarian diet. You cannot have suddenly vegetarian diet in one day and then go ahead. No, that cannot be done, right? That needs time. There is a question that if someone eats less than required food, should they go for dhauti? Very good question, right? If somebody is eating less than required, first of all, definition of less than required is the person should able to eat same amount of food after a lunch or dinner. That is what is a less than required definition. Suppose I eat a thali Okay, so same amount of thali I should immediately able to eat without any gas problem, without any indigestion, without any burping. That is known as less than required food. Okay, and actually the formula is this: if the person is eating less than required food, person doesn't have any extra craving, or person doesn't have any kind of gases problem or indigestion, constipation, the person should not do dhauti. But if it is done once in a month for such person, it is very good, right? So that's the answer for the person. See, if your body is clean, there is no requirement of cleaning technique. Dhauti is a cleaning technique, right? So there is no requirement of particularly dhauti if the person has already less amount of food taken, but the person has lot of acidity, then needs dhauti, right? So let's go for contents. Very important. First, when you start your diet, go on diet, the first thing you should have your steering to be changed towards from the carb to a better carb. That is the first principle. What is carb to better carb? Carb: chapati, upma, rava, maida, wheat, rice, udad, or what you can say idli, dosa, uttappa, carb. To better carb. Now what is this better carb? This is the principle. Or poha. Okay, that is puff rice. What is better carb? Better carb is millets. Better carb is millets. Jawar, sorghum, or nachni, right? So these all millets are better carb. As a rule, better carbs, they have better amount of fibers. Better carbs, some of them have more glycemic index, but they are better because they have fibers. And it is found that millets are more better protein and amino acid containing than the other kind of which are like wheat, right? So better carb is very important. You will find people, they get a layer on stomach if they continuously eat rice, but if they stop rice, then they will have a deficiency of B12 or vitamin B complexes. You will have kind of ulcer in your on your tongue. So what is to be done? In this case, you cannot get rid of rice completely. You'll have to then control the rice. Okay, or you'll have to have intermittent intermittent rice fasting, you can say, correct, which is very difficult. But at the same time, when you do any rule for 21 days, you will find that these 21 days your stomach will also go in different changes, and as a result of it, your stomach will be acquainted to extract amount of active principles, vitamins, amino acids from your bitter carb. Now, when you go for proteins, second, so better to have a mixed dal. As a rule, udit dal should not be taken solely. Okay, it should be always with some combination. Better not to take that, but other dals can be mixed. It is very simple that you should have mixed dal in your diet. It is always better to digest dal, which is a combination of carb and protein. It always requires both kind of enzymes in your stomach. Remember, when you eat dal, you have to limit your quantity. Otherwise, it will cause indigestions. I have seen people most of the people who have constipations, they are eating dal. But that does not mean you should not eat dal. You should eat dal in a moderate quantity. Rather, more diluted dal is better for you. Right? So, ideally, you should have a good carb and dal. A third component is huge component, which should be 75% of your complete diet is sabzi, vegetables, salad, right? Salad, sabzi, vegetables. Correct. So that your stomach will be filled with the more fibers than carb, because carb will ultimately get converted into glucose, and glucose will get ultimately converted into fat. Okay, but better carb has little bit of luxury there. It will not so easily convert into fat, right? And if you are eating fat along with it, it will directly deposit it. It will be converted into fatty acid. It will be converted into the simple chains, and it will be picked up and deposited directly. Along with that, you should always have a component of very small component of water. But of course, it should not be like that you are not able to gallop it and you are not drinking water. That should not be the case. The case should be you should able to drink that much amount of water, which will actually allow you to swallow the food, okay, so that your acid, your enzymes in the stomach, they should able to work on the diet what you have taken, the meal you have taken, and break it into pieces, break it into a chime, and break it into a absorbable amount of bolus of food. Correct? And then after some time you should drink the water. Of course, people who have better digestion, they can drink the water during your meal, right? When you have taken this, either before or after, you can also take fruits. Generally, it is better that you take fruits before, right? Because it is said that but this is all difference, very small differences which actually occur. The fruits which are taken before, fruits generally have sugar, and sugar will impart insulin secretion. So as a result of it, the insulin secretion for proper absorption, proper transfer of glucose from extracellular blood to the actual cell of muscles, it will be very quick because insulin is available. So the stimulation of insulin will be better if you eat any kind of high glycemic index fruits or any meal just before the meal. So as a result of it, what Ayurveda say, that you should start your meal with high glycemic index food, means sweet. Okay, but for us, we don't eat sweet because we have to reduce the weight. Correct? So we can start our meal with the fruits. Correct? Fruits has sugar, definitely, but again fruits has high fiber, right? So absorption is low. So fruits are that way better to reduce the weight. Fruit will also push the whole whole food down. It will go through the gut very easily, and as a result of it, you will find that you may have a urge to go to toilet in the evening itself, because fruits will actually pave its way of food to down. Correct? So there is a question. I was non-vegetarian before and converted to vegetarian. I got B12 deficiency and D deficiency. What should be the food habits to maintain B12 and D without non-veg? Very good question. See, whenever there is a deficiency, first of all, you should not convert yourself quickly from non-vegetarian to vegetarian. First of all, non-vegetarian, our gut is not prepared for non-vegetarian food. First of all, our gut is prepared for vegetarian food, right? Because our gut doesn't have so much of lipases enzymes. Okay, our gut actually doesn't have small intestinal length, right, compared to non-vegetarian animals. Our enzymes are not that very good about it. We have a lot of absorption of non-vegetarian food. So see what happens when we eat non-vegetarian food. We go for we go for a long lasting of that non-vegetarian food in our gut. Okay, as a result of it, it will allow to absorb all the vitamins, all the fats, all the protein. So we are at ease, right? And it will absorb vitamins and it will definitely suffice those vitamins. But there are many other things which are there which have a disadvantage, which I will not come to that. But if you suddenly shift from non-vegetarian to vegetarian food, it is a problem. Correct? So you have to partially shift it. Say first in 7 days you have to eat 1 day vegetarian, then 2 days. So your shifting should be almost 6 months to year, so that your gut will determine, boss, I have to pick up my B12 from the, say, milk, from mushroom, okay, from soybean, from the lentils. I have to pick up. So you should increase your fruits, okay, your concentration of mushroom, broccoli in your meal, and lots of millets and sprouts, and also milk, okay, in your diet, so that this deficiency you will get rid of. Okay, so you got this, particularly the question answer. One more question: is there taking a ghee empty stomach good for weight loss? What is ghee? What is ghee chemically? Anybody? What is ghee chemically?
Fat.
It's a fat. Correct. What fat? Let's go to a little bit of chemistry also. Okay, chemistry bite. What fat?
Saturated fat.
Saturated fat. Okay, very good. What saturated fat? Good cholesterol? Not a cholesterol. Cholesterol is a different molecule. Cholesterol
Animal
has
fat.
a molecule of cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrene nucleus, whereas ghee is a butyric acid. It's a fat with not a very big carbon atom. Okay, cholesterol has a rings inside its structure. Okay, if somebody from the chemistry background, probably they will come to know. Ghee has a very different kind of path in our body. Ghee, it is said by Ayurveda that it imparts a kind of vigor in our body. It imparts a kind of rejuvenation in our body. But when ghee is taken along with carb, then it will deposit in our body. Okay, so it is said jaggery and ghee. If somebody would like to increase your bulk of your chicks, jaggery, ghee and roti. Okay, that's the best, because jaggery is a combination of lot of carb, right? Sucrose, glucose, fructose, glucose, lot of sugars are there, and ghee is a fat. So fat plus carb, high glycemic index carb. Very good combination for increase your tummy. Very good combination to become baby fat owner, right? So, but if ghee is taken empty stomach, then remember, this is a kind of treatment to your body. What is that treatment? You are provoking your stomach to digest ghee. Now ghee cannot be digested by amylase, means carb oriented enzymes. So you are actually challenging your body. Boss, I want lipases, fat lysing enzyme I want. In doing so, you are actually reducing your carb want of your body, and you are actually provoking your body to digest ghee. It will be absorbed, it will be digested, but at the same time it will take away your, with empty stomach, it will take away your craving. But also it will increase your acidity. You know, a person, if you drink a ghee, go to your home and drink a ghee, a kind of say 10 to 12 spoon of ghee, and I am sure after an hour you will feel nauseating. Very simple, because you are eating a lot of fat, right? And if you try this for multiple days, you will find your skin will also have a kind of ghee smell, because it will go to each and every part of the body. There is a cleaning technique of ghee which is there in Ayurveda, and there they give you only ghee to drink every day. Okay, so but if you do this kind of training or to your body, please also refer to Ayurveda doctor, right? So it's very important, because you are playing with the body. I'll give you one example of my own. When I was in China, I kept myself 3 days on olive oil, and third day I was thinking only oily, that I was looking towards everything which I feel that this is olive oil. Okay, everything was olive, everything was olive oily. I found that I have not consumed any carb for last 3 days, but still I am not hungry. But don't do these kind of experiments, okay? Because if you do experiments, you should have a robust body. Otherwise, if this deposits in your artery, then it's a problematic thing, correct? Because you are playing with the fire. Okay, you are playing with your Vaishwanar. You do this when you are doing sun salutations, say 100 sun salutations a day, 1.5 hour of exercise every day, yoga every day, okay, at least 40 drops of sweat every day. Then you do any experiment. I'm sure I don't have to be here for you to tell you what is to be done. The person who does 1.5 hour of yoga, he or she will get the direction by themselves. I'm sure about that, right? So there is a question, another question. Ghee is better than butter. This is a question to be discussed. ghee is better than butter in one way. Okay, is that is a pure fat, and if it is a pure, then it's better. Nowadays there are no pure ghee, they are mixed with multiple, sometimes unsaturated, sometimes saturated. There is no polysaturated, first of all. Okay, there is a polyunsaturated. Polyunsaturated are better compounds fat, because they have multiple unsaturated bonds in their carbon chain. That's why it is polyunsaturated. Okay, omega 3, what is that? Carbon double bond at the omega carbon atom of the chain. Okay, that's why it is omega 3 fatty acid. Some means what people say. Saturated fats are not good, correct? Whatever palm oil, or we see the oil which are actually there in the pan of samosa frying tapri, vada pav, these are all saturated fats. They are the best for heart attacks, they are the best for depositing in arteries, they are the best for almost all diseases caused by deposition of your fat. They are the best because they are from last 14 days, they are in the same pan, and people are coughing up. Okay, they are coughing up. So anything which is fried outside, it will have some percentage of carbon, the real charcoal rather, because that some of the oil is converted into charcoal, and that will have beautiful taste. Best carcinogen means best cancer causing substance. Best cancer causing substance is there in the pan of tapri. Okay, so in one sense ghee is better than butter, but at the same time butter has some other contents also. Okay, it depends on what for you are eating. If you are eating for cleaning, ghee is the better. If you are eating as a substance to suffice your need of, say, calcium, suffice need of, say, tyramine, or suffice the need for getting a good sleep, then butter is better, right? So this is the answer for what is ghee is better or butter is better. Suggest a food to include in improving gut health and completely avoiding the constipation and gas and acidity problem. Very good question. First thing, lot of water throughout the day. Number one, lot of water throughout the day. You should drink water whenever you want, whenever you have almost a kind of dry lips, you should drink water. Number two, there should not be a day in your life when you are not eating fruit. I'm sure many of us, they pass weeks together not having a single fruit, right? Weeks together. I have seen weeks together. That is number two. Number three, never eat food which is incompatible. Eating curd along with lemon, okay, eating cucumber along with acidic substance like lemon, or eating a fruit along with the milk. When incompatible substances are taken, then stomach confused whether I have to work on fruit or I have to work on milk. And number 4, never ever have full stomach. So how you have to determine? You should be empty stomach. You should be always craving throughout your life. Okay, you should never have full stomach. So any point of time, if I ask you, do you want to eat, you have some craving, some, yes, you should say yes, I'm hungry. Any point of time, even after your food, then you have health, then there is no problem of health. Number 4, early morning, if you don't do dhauti, then you should have ushappan. What is that ushappan? Early morning, drink lot of water. Okay, don't go for dhauti, but you should drink lot of water, right? And during your lunch or dinner, you should not drink lot of water, but you should drink water after 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 20 to 40 minutes, it's okay. One very important point which we cannot avoid, but we should avoid, to bring about gas, acidity, constipation, complete removal, except any food which is not imparting insulin, you should not eat anything. So what are the food which are not imparting insulin? Simple: cucumber, water, food like soybean flakes, food like all salads except beetroot. Very simple way to determine it, which are non-insulin imparting food. Very simple to determine. That test well, impart insulin. Whether coconut impart insulin? Answer is no. Coconut water? Answer is no. Very less. Neera? Yes. Lemon water with sugar? Yes. So you should not take anything that impart insulin secretion in your body, as a principle, between your 2 meals. More number of meals you take in between, more insulin hikes will be there, more cravings will be there, more constipation will be there, and more amount of gases will be there. Okay, but if you have a good craving and you eat it, you won't have any constipation. Again, as a rule, you should never eat second meal. As a rule, again, never eat your second meal before minimum of 3 hours. Minimum. It is said sometimes 8 hours is best for fasting, the ideal. But if you are taking something before 3 hours, then it's a problem. Tea is the biggest problem. No, I don't take meal, I take tea. Having 1 or 2 spoon of sugar, I don't take too much of 2 spoon of sugar, I take only 1 spoon of sugar. You're gone. Your stomach has absorbed sugar, insulin is secreted, you have a problem. You have a clear problem. You are a candidate for constipation. If you drink tea with, again repeating, with sugar or milk, but if you drink tea without sugar, without milk, will you have a problem? Will you have the insulin secretion? Answer is no. But tea with high amount of tea concentration will have another problem. That is a tannic acid problem. Tea has tannins. Tannins are precipitants of proteins, and it will precipitate your mucous membrane of your stomach, and it will have a kind of nausea. But in a very small concentration of tea, it's very good. So here comes the optimization, right? Here comes the optimization. Okay, so that was the answer for your acidity, gas and constipation.
I think there is one more question around coffee. I think it's everything is same when it comes to tea and coffee, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Only thing is
And
that
yeah.
just to add, coffee has more caffeine than tea. Remember, it has more tannins than tea. Coffee is more hazardous than tea. I'll not say exactly hazardous, but at the same time, if you reduce the amount of coffee, then it is better, because it has some rejuvenating substances also. But considering the caffeine of it, caffeine percentage is very high in coffee. Okay, but it is rejuvenating. It will actually stimulate the brain. But coffee along with milk, coffee along with the sugar, you don't have to eat any slow poison for years together. It itself is enough to put you in trouble. Not directly, indirectly. Not directly.
Always about sugar and jaggery. So if you can just clarify that.
Okay.
The last question I see here is, latest question is, better to take sugar free to avoid insulin spike, or if you want to just throw light on the confusion between sugar free, stuff which comes in, and the jaggery. So I think that
Sure.
will solve many questions.
Sure. I'll put that. So let's take this question. Number 1, jaggery, sugar and sugar free. Which is the better one? What is the sequence of betterment? Okay, this is the question. Right? See, all the three. If you are eating, say, jaggery, you are actually jumping into river. Okay, where you don't know whether you will come back or you will be flown away by water. If you are eating sugar, you are jumping into a sea where there is a 1 kilometer of your depth of sea. You will not come back. And if you are eating for better taste, sweet taste, some kind of sugar free, maybe sucralose, sugar free, then you are jumping into somewhere where you don't know how much water there is in that well. Okay, all ultimately have the same effect. Coming to the in depth of it, jaggery, that way it is better. Okay, jumping into a river, maybe that will get some sort of calcium, will get some sort of iron, iron means ferrous. We may get some sort of many more magnesium ions to our body, and has complex sugar compared to glucose, right? So jaggery is a combination, better than anything, the sugar and the sugar free. Jaggery has that way 1/4 of the energy of pure sugar. Jaggery has an advantage, it doesn't have decolorizing agents. Jaggery has an advantage that it is more towards the nature. Sugar is a sea. Sugar, decolorizing agents are there. It's artificial almost. It's a pure sucrose. Sucrose will hydrolyze into glucose and fructose, right? And then it will be picked up by your body directly as an energy source. Excess of it will deposit as a fat. Too much of sugar, eating a sugar will cause acidity. It will increase your blood sugar, increase your insulin immediately. Hyperinsulinemia is the result of sugar. So, if you have a choice, better to go for jaggery. But again, jaggery, sugar is jumping it from the 10th floor, jaggery is jumping it from the 8th floor. Result is same for weight, right? Result is same. Now third thing, this is where the result is same, but you don't know that result is same. You come to know after the results. Okay, this is a googly ball. How? In previous years, maybe 20 years back, there was maybe not 20, 30, 35 years back, cyclandylate was the molecule of sugar free. People used to say cyclandylate is the best. Come to know, cyclandylate is carcinogenic in nature. It causes cancer. Then they have brought a molecule aspartame. It's better. Then come to know, after the 10 years, aspartame also causes cancer. Okay. Then they say, no, let's bring it new. All are pharma gimmicks. Then they have brought sucralose. Sucralose, best sugar free. Now there are research paper, it is also causing malignancy. Very good thing about malignancy is that it won't show you immediately. It is not written on a piece of paper, or it is not labeled that this is malignant in nature. That is also malignant. I have a separate session on how to prevent cancer. Okay, if somebody wants, they can ping me, I will send them the link. But this is also malignant, and you won't believe. Try to do this experiment and you will find, without taking any food, if you eat sugar free or this sucralose molecule, you will find nauseating, you will find disturbing yourself. You try this sometimes and you will find this. It is a pseudo sweet, right? The treating of this particular molecule by body is very different than the normal sugar. Only it has a kind of sweet taste. It is not sweet. It is a kind of sweet taste. Then there is a molecule known as saccharin, which is 555 times sweeter than sugar, and that is actually natural one, which is there in honey. Okay, but in very high concentration, it is bitter. So now that has come, but also found that is in high concentration causes malignancies. So that is also not good. So that does mean if you eat everyday honey, then it's not good, right? So be careful, because honey has saccharin, but this saccharin is in a natural form, so that is good. But saccharin directly is not good. Most of the Ayurvedic drugs or most of the Ayurvedic medicine, they are picked up as a vehicle in honey. That's good, because that is a nature. So nature has its own way of remediate your body. But if you extract from the nature, it's a problem. It's a problem. Very, very recently, specifically for sugar, I had been asked by one person. It's a very good question, very, very beautiful question. That for reducing sugar, don't do anything. Just bring 2 leaves of mango, put it in the night in water, morning you drink it, and you will reduce the sugar. And that is true. Okay, for your kind information, that is true. Don't try it, but that is truth. It reduces, but it has a fat component, it has a one lipophilic component, and it has a one hydrophilic component, means water loving component. This water loving component is actually anti-diabetic or anti-sugar component. Now the problem here is, even if a percentage of fat loving component comes in this, particularly the extract which or maceration which we are doing throughout the night, that is a poison. So we should not play with the pharmaceutical processes which are established by Ayurveda. I will not say, though being a pharmacist, registered pharmacist of India, but I will never play with the Ayurveda processes to be applied for the allopathic drugs. Don't do that. Then you have to have the complete thinking of it. So similarly, what we have done in case of sweeteners, we have applied the processes, allopathic processes on Ayurvedic drugs, which is not correct. Every fruit is good, complete in its own way. So that's why eating a fruit is better than drinking